any further.
I call the Honourable Annette King.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Can I say to my colleague who's just resumed his seat that I agree it is not the only important supplementary order paper. In fact, there are some very good ones which I intend to support. But it is a supplementary order paper that has been put forward by Honihara Wera and deals with, I think, his passionate concern around the age of which alcohol is consumed and sold. So in that spirit, I'm going to support this amendment. I'm one of those who have never changed my mind in terms of what the drinking age should be. I was the Minister of Health that voted to retain the drinking age at 20 based on what I believe was good health background and evidence. And in every vote since, I have not been persuaded that we ought to change the age. And so this particular clause deals with us looking once again at the age and reviewing it in 5 years by the Ministry of Justice. And I think that is a very good suggestion indeed, because the last review that we had of alcohol, as my colleague Leanne Dalziel pointed out, took 12 years and went to the Law Commission. It was a major piece of work and took a considerable amount of time. The only concern I have is that the Law Commission wasn't given the opportunity to write the bill, because I'm sure if they'd written the bill, we actually might have had a more comprehensive one than this, and many more of their recommendations agreed to. But it took 12 years for that review, and I don't believe we should wait another 12 years or longer before we look at particular issues, and Leanne Dalziel has already signalled that there may be other issues that ought to be up for review in a shorter time frame. But what this amendment does is to say that we will re-look at the purchase and sale on licensed premises within 5 years of the commencement of this bill. It's not the big bells and whistles of the Law Commission. It is done by the Ministry of Justice. And why I support it is because you do need to base your policy on ongoing evidence and research, and things do change. I'm very persuaded by Dr. Peter Gluckman, the Chief Science Advisor to the Prime Minister, who is constantly telling the government that they ought to provide policy based on research and evidence. And so I think that in the next 5 years there will be considerable research gathered. For example, the World Health Assembly now has a global status report on the harm of alcohol, and their first major report came out last year. It arose out of a global strategy from the World Health Organization because nations wanted to look at strategies and approaches to reduce the harm of alcohol. And in fact, my understanding is that New Zealand was one of the nations, one of the 100 nations, that supported a global strategy on alcohol. And one of their recommendations was to raise the age of sale of alcohol. And so I would like us to be always looking at what the latest evidence is, what the research shows in terms of changing patterns, the impact on health, the different issues that arise out of the consumption of alcohol. I also think the public would like us to re-look at the age issue in 5 years. They would support, as we saw by a poll last week, that the age be 20 years of age. And I know that many here voted for that. I know others voted for the split age, and I know others voted for 18, and I accept people's votes. I just wish other people would remember how they voted. But But the public has made brain fade. Well, what does it come from? I mean, this is what we need greater research in. Does brain fade come from too much consumption of alcohol? But the public have made it clear that they would have liked the age to be 20, and I think by reviewing it in 5 years' time, Mr Chairman, the Ministry undertaking this review, we can base decisions on the latest research and evidence and not just licking our finger and putting it into the wind.
I call Charles Chevelle.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Mr Chairman, I was one of the members in the House who